Hey, we can do both, guys. We can share a win. We can talk about a little Hall of Fame stuff. But no, man, I don't know until it comes out.
Yeah.
We're all in suspense, and me, what I've learned to do is try not to get too involved in the numbers.
Right. It's the best way to do it.
That little clip we just listened to, that's a little passionate, Freddie T. Like, come on, get it right.
I like it.
But now I'm more reserved, and I kind of understand the process.
Mm-hmm.
And although you can get sort of lured into wanting to crunch the numbers and look at the other guys and all of that. But I think what I've learned is once you're in the finalist room, the margin's so narrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're so thin. I believe all of the guys are deserving.
It's true. It is.
Point,
Yeah.
Then it's the process of elimination, and we don't know.
Well, this is your second time as a finalist, right, Freddie? So this is the second time you've gotten in the room. Last year we were big on we got to get them in the room. Get them in the room. That gets the process really started. And there's a couple things here. I like the fact that you're the only running back. Again, I like that. I like that. I'd like that to, it's a great year for running backs. It's a perfect time. Let's honor one of the best of all time in Fred Taylor. Let's get him in. So that's a good thing. It'll be interesting. But you're right. You can go over all 15 of these guys.
And find a case for them, or they wouldn't be in the 15.
Torrey Holt's in there for the 6th time. Reggie Wayne's in there for the 6th time. So Jared Allen's in there for the 5th time. So those guys have been there a few times. So, and then you got your first-timers that you got to deal with. Eli, T. Suggs, Kuechly, so some of those guys. So we'll see.
Right, yep. And we just stay on standby, until the name is called.
Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing much more we could do.
Right.
Stay grateful in the process.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Let's turn to the Jags for a second. Fred, in my recollection, you were never on terrible football teams. Like, you were never on a team that you got to week 12 and fans and, was talking about what draft position. You were never in an NFL season where you get to the end of the year and a win could be looked at as more damaging than it is inflating. So I'm just curious what the players' perspective is. To me, it would seem awful hard to turn the light on and off. I guess you go out every week and try and win the game, right? And, let the chips fall where they may when it comes to all the other off-season stuff.
Yeah, regardless of the record, you go out and compete. There's another. It's in one other opportunity to put, some film, some play on film, and because we're always evaluated, no matter what, and that goes out to. Saquon, prime example of that. Amazing player. We're forever being evaluated because this is a business. It's a revolving door, and their teams are always looking to make some sort of moves to try and upgrade their roster, whether it be through free agency, trade, releasing players, the draft. But for us as players in a locker room, I got to be honest, not all guys care to play. They care to collect a check, a lot of them. But you have a group of competitive guys that want to get out there and play each and every opportunity, no matter what it looks like, win, lose, or draw. So I believe I was on a 5-11 team before. Not 100% certain,
you were.
But I believe I was.
Yeah, that was the bottom.
And that's not a great feeling, but I can bet you that I was out there, trying my best to lead the guys. For anyone that followed, I just wanted to encourage them to go out there and do their best to make sure they put something good on tape. And for the guys that didn't, I just kind of separated myself from them.
We talked about Brian Thomas Jr. last week, Freddie, and asked you some comparisons and the way he's playing, and he backed it up again yesterday with another really good performance. And now in his rookie year, that's all that he has. And you kind of had that type of rookie season as well. Elite company. You like that, 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns. That's Randy Moss, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham Jr., and Brian Thomas Jr. I like that group.
That's an amazing group, and I actually reached out to Cortez Hankton last night, one of a former Jaguar, my former teammate, Coach Tez down there, LSU wide receivers coach, one of the highest paid receiver coaches across the college landscape. He's doing an amazing job of developing these young men. And his response when I told him congratulations was like, no, Brian is an amazing kid. He deserves everything. He's a hard worker, and he's really like that. He really has the upside potential to go out there and be one of the best. Along with you throw Malik Neighbors in that group as well as an LSU receiver. And, I remember the days Florida had a stick like that. We had our guys, Kwesi Ike-Reed, Travis Taylor, all of these guys, Percy Harvin. But, yeah, Brian Thomas is certainly a foundational piece, one we can continue to add pieces around him for Trevor, and hopefully this offense can take off and, finish these the future seasons ranked in the top 5 and 10 and hopefully back to the playoffs.
Those historical references are really cool. Shoot, you can just go current. I mean, the guy's 4th in receiving yards behind 3 dudes named Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb. That's crazy.
Oh, I forgot Justin Jettis.
Yeah.
Jettis is also another.
There's another one. He's right behind those dudes. And right. By the way, on a 4-12 team, Fred, on a 4-12 team whose offensive game plan and execution had exactly been, I don't know, worth a darn.
You know what? But God is a comedian at times. Right? When you back it out and look at it all, we don't know if he gets these opportunities had Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk doesn't go down.
Maybe.
Unfortunately. And granted, they're veteran guys who put in the work. They've put in their share of time, and they deserve their looks. Not to knock them at all, just saying sometimes injuries allow other guys to kind of get an opportunity, and he's made the most of his opportunity. It reminded me of when Stu went down. They didn't really have a big plan for me to go out there and play. Stu went down, and it was unfortunate for the team and for Stu, but I ended up coming out and I never looked back. And hopefully Brian Thomas Jr. does the same thing with his torch.
Whatever happens a week from today, whether the coach goes, the GM goes, whether they stay, whatever, things have to change around here. And I point towards, and I said this earlier on the show, and I want to get your opinion. I don't know if I've asked you many. I don't know, the word culture is often thrown around, and especially in football. I don't know why, but, usually it coincides with being a winning team, right? If you're winning, you got a good culture, but it's not always true. But, boy, I look at these Vikings. You want to look at a team that's having fun and winning, man. So not only do they win yesterday, they beat the Packers. They're playing for the number 1 seed next week. Sam Darnold, they love. He runs in the locker room. They all go crazy. They throw him in the air. Coach sits down. But then they also have the greatest touchdown celebrations going. They have these choreographed deals every week. It just looks like they're having this great time together and playing for each other. And it just gives me, I don't know, I just kind of love that part about football. And so let me ask you, the player, does that stuff matter?
I think it's just common sense when you're winning. Naturally, you want to go out there. Fun is a byproduct of winning.
For sure.
Such as you're not going to have as much fun if you're not winning. I don't want to see any of my teammates celebrating after a loss, but I do want to see energy. I think what it is in Minnesota is they have a positive energy in the room, and it's infected the entire team, coaching staff. Everybody's all locked in, and they're dialed in, and that's their culture. And again, that word is always synonymous to winning. You don't talk about a culture if you're losing. You say, how can we change the culture? So, and that's synonymous with losing, wanting to change the culture. But they're having fun, as you should when you're winning. A little celebration here and there. Those guys are very creative in what they've done to find these celebrations, knowing it's going to travel on social media. I think it's a waste of energy, if you ask me. But I'm just old school. I like to reserve my energy for another play, a few more carries. So, yeah, man, hopefully we can get some wins around this place so those guys can go out there and show their level, a certain level of excitement, because they have before. It's just that it's not a good look if you do it when you're losing.
All right, Freddie. Well, we're gonna keep sending the prayers up there and rooting for you in this year's Hall of Fame class, and we'll continue to break down this Jaguar season for one more broken down game. See how it goes. Imagine it could be 4-2 in the division and be 5-5
Yeah.
12. That doesn't seem possible.
That tells you how bad the division is, quite honestly.
Not
yeah,
good.
yeah. Which I thought would be one of the best divisions in all of football.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, the Texans haven't stepped up either. I mean, we've gone way back, falling apart. The Titans are remained awful. The Colts are just okay, but the Texans have gone Jag mode from last year.
Yeah, none of the quarterbacks have played great. Go ahead, Fred.
The Texans quarterback, he's not playing as CJ isn't playing as well as he played a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Still, he's playing well enough for them to win. I think their biggest problem is the injuries.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Been beat up by a ton of injuries across the board, offense and defense. Otherwise, they'll be a bit more competitive.
Of course, we said that last year, Fred, and it ain't played out that way this year for us. So, you never know.
And it happens. It's the NFL.
Yeah,
we can nitpick and find all types of stuff here.
Yeah,
but bottom line is you got to be able to deliver on Sundays and try and be on the positive side of those one-win games. And yesterday they were. So I commend them for digging deep to find a win at this point in the season. And hopefully they can figure it out and beat up on the Colts as the Giants did yesterday. They can do that next week.
Happy New Year, my man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Fred.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
There he goes. That's Freddie T, NFL Hall of Fame finalist for the second time in the room with 14 others. So,
and the Monday morning running back.